You are listening to KSG Podcast. This is a short, crisp, concise, exam-oriented, edited editorial for civil services aspirants. In this podcast, we are going to talk about two time zones and economy. Source for the content is Rajesh Mehta's article for the Hindu Business Line. The US spans 4,800 kilometers from east to west and is divided into 6 time zones. In contrast, India stretches over 3,000 kilometers from Gujarat to Arunachal Pradesh but has only one time zone. While there is a debate in the US about whether they should switch from 6 time zones to 2, India, on the other hand, has been talking about moving from one time zone to 2 for a long. China also has one time zone. India is geographically the second largest country without multiple time zones. Before independence, India used Bombay, Calcutta, and Madras Time. Adopting two time zones for India is something the government should think about seriously. The northeast states have been vocal about two time zones, and if the bill is passed in parliament, it will undoubtedly boost India's economy in the long run. India uses a single time zone because it serves its strategic and political purposes, but it's time to change, seeing its economic needs. Now, talking about the single time and the pros and cons involved, the proponents of a single time zone contend that India is not as large as China, which maintains a single time zone. The country actually spreads across 5 time zones. Furthermore, implementing two time zones in India will cause havoc not just in long distance railway timetables but also in the way business is conducted. A single shared experience, no matter where you are in India, unites the country. That is a powerful concept, but it's also slightly flawed because it does not take advantage of light. Now, talking about two time zones and the pros and cons, India has long debated the feasibility of two time zones. In fact, tea gardens in Assam have long set their clocks 1 hour ahead of the IST, creating their own informal time zone. There are also economic benefits to having two time zones. People will be able to work and plan more effectively. According to a study by the National Institute of Advanced Studies, two time zones will help India save 2.7 billion units of electricity a year. This is because most offices and schools in the eastern part of the country stay open well past sunset. Conserving electricity is critical for the Indian economy, which is suffering from a crippling power deficit. The International Energy Agency estimates that nearly 24 million Indians do not have access to electricity. According to CSIR-NPL, India might save 1,000 crore rupees per year if it can conserve electricity by implementing two time zones. The impact of time zones on international business has been a little known but significant issue. Historically, economic patterns and partners have had an impact on the time zones of nations. According to research, countries with more than one time zone, such as the US, the UK, Australia, and Canada, have gained economically from commerce across time zones. They were able to concentrate on their strengths and shortcomings, resulting in the best outcomes. Therefore, their work and sleep schedules operate on separate time zones. Changing the time zone allowed employees to develop healthier eating, sleeping, and working habits, which had positive outcomes. Since the political authority controls time zones, the majority of the advantages or disadvantages perceived by residents regarding their country's time zones were more political or social than economic in nature. By taking advantage of these opportunities and converting the time zone differences, India can see some economic benefits. The government rejected a similar idea in 2002, noting its complexity. Due to the necessity of resetting the clock at every time zone boundary crossing, some experts believe that there was also a possibility of train accidents. Last year, however, India's official timekeepers proposed two time zones, one for the majority of the country and another for 8 states, including 7 in the northeast region and the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. There would be an hour's difference between the two time zones. India's decision to adopt a single time zone after independence was a conscious one. A significant portion of our population was illiterate at the time, and two time zones would have led to a lot of complications. But with the impressive strides made in improving literacy rates, this is no longer the case. India can benefit economically if it switches to hourly time zone changes. That's it for this podcast. Thank you so much for listening. To join KSG India courses and to crack the IS exam, visit ksgindia.com. You can also get a PDF of this podcast on ksgindia.com. Thanks for listening and do subscribe to our channel.